Welcome to Daily Gossip. You'll get daily Hollywood, political, and high society updates right here. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss the drama, the elegance, and the jaw-dropping transformations happening all around the people in power. Today, we step into the world of a woman who usually stays away from the limelight, but is now unexpectedly at the center of conversation. That's right, Usha Vance, the fiercely private wife of Senator J.D. Vance, has suddenly found herself under a different kind of spotlight, not for her political views or courtroom prowess, but for her footwear. Yes, you heard that right. From conservative court classics to unexpected statement shoes, Usha's style has been quietly evolving, and it's turning heads. Some are confused, some are impressed, but everyone is talking. Let's dive into the emotional, dramatic, and even symbolic story behind the shoes that walked Usha Vance into the public eye. In the world of politics, fashion isn't just fashion. It's a message. And for political spouses, especially women, that message is constantly under scrutiny. Enter Usha Vance, a Yale Law School graduate, mother of 3, Indian-American powerhouse, and wife to one of the GOP's most watched rising stars, Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio. She's always preferred the shadows over the spotlight. That is, until now. Because while she's remained a soft-spoken presence at rallies, Senate events, and interviews, one thing has recently started to draw attention: her shoes. It began subtly. A photograph at a campaign stop showed Usha standing beside her husband, wearing a traditional conservative navy suit and strikingly bright red heels. It was unexpected, not because a woman wore red shoes, but because Usha, who had built a visual identity on understated elegance and reserved colors, had made a statement. And that statement, whether intentional or accidental, went viral. Critics and admirers alike flooded social media with speculation. Was this a signal of rising confidence? A quiet rebellion against the political wife stereotype? Or was it just an innocent fashion choice, blown out of proportion? Theories flew faster than tweets. One commentator wrote, "Usha's shoes say what her posture doesn't, that she's not afraid to be noticed." Another responded, "Is this really what we've come to? Obsessing over shoes?" But that red heel moment wasn't a one-off. At a Senate dinner a few weeks later, Usha appeared again, this time in sleek black stilettos with metallic accents. At a fundraiser in Cincinnati, a pair of vintage leather block heels that fashion blogs immediately picked up. The Huffington Post even ran a piece titled "The Silent Chic of Usha Vance," praising her footwear as unexpectedly daring. For someone not known to chase trends or speak publicly, her fashion, especially her footwear, began to do the talking. And that brings us to the emotional center of this story. Usha's shoes are more than shoes. They are perhaps the only visible expression of her inner life. A life that is defined by contrast. Elite academia and middle America, legal intellect and motherhood, private citizen and political figure. Let's rewind. Before the media frenzy, Usha was best known for being fiercely intelligent and deeply private. Born Usha Chilukuri, she met J.D. at Yale Law School. They both clerked for prestigious judges, including then D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Her legal mind is often described by former classmates as razor sharp, and those who know her say she's incredibly grounded, pragmatic, and sincere. But none of that was ever placed under public judgment until J.D. Vance entered politics. Suddenly, Usha found herself photographed at rallies, scrutinized at galas, compared to other political spouses, and slowly, her wardrobe, especially her shoes, became one of the few outlets where her individuality could peek through. It wasn't a loud rebellion. It was subtle, sophisticated, and strategic. Let's walk through some of her most talked about footwear moments, not to gossip for gossip's sake, but to understand the symbolism. The red heels at the campaign stop were bold. In politics, red can symbolize both power and alignment. Was Usha saying, "I stand with my husband and his party"? Or was she reclaiming color as confidence? The shoes sparked debate, but Usha didn't respond. She never does. That silence made it all more powerful. The metallic stilettos at the Senate dinner were sleek and modern. Unexpected. Some critics called it inappropriate for the formality of the event, while others applauded her for showing that femininity and professionalism can coexist. Again, she said nothing. The shoes said enough. At a veterans fundraiser in rural Ohio, Usha was spotted in tan suede wedges. Practical, stylish, and regionally appropriate. It showed she could adapt. She wasn't trying to impress a runway. She was connecting with Middle America without abandoning class. But the most shocking moment came at a private fundraiser in DC, where she wore open-toed black mules. Minimalist and almost avant-garde in their quiet boldness. A senator's spouse in open-toed shoes. For traditionalists, that crossed an invisible line, but others saw it differently. A Georgetown stylist said that was her Jackie Kennedy moment. Quiet rebellion wrapped in grace. As we emotionally unpack this, it's important to remember, Usha didn't choose this spotlight. But once it found her, she chose to respond. Not with interviews or statements, but with footwear that quietly, elegantly declared, "I am here, and I am watching" in a political environment where every move is calculated. Usha's shoes may be her only unscripted expressions. They show evolution, from reserved wife to emerging icon. Not a fashion icon in the traditional sense, but a symbol of the modern political partner. Educated, aware, graceful, and strategic. The drama surrounding her shoes reflects a deeper anxiety in American culture, the discomfort we have when women express confidence without explanation. Usha's footwear invites speculation because it resists definition. That's what makes it powerful. As we close this story, one thing is clear. The buzz around Usha Vance's fashion isn't just fluff. It's a reflection of how women in power, or adjacent to power, are still expected to look, behave, and dress a certain way. And when they don't, the world notices. So, what do you think? Is Usha Vance's footwear a silent power play? Or just fashion under a magnifying glass? Is the criticism fair? Or is this just another case of holding women to impossible standards? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And don't forget, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more emotional, dramatic, and jaw-dropping breakdowns of the people who are secretly changing the game behind the scenes. This has been Daily Gossip, where fashion meets politics, and silence speaks volumes.